Most conversations about aging and the heart focus on what's going wrong, the warning signs, the risk factors, the things worth watching out for before it's too late. This one is different, and refreshingly so. This is about 5 specific things your heart can still do, according to real cardiovascular research.
It's aging significantly slower than the calendar on the wall suggests it should be. None of these require a lab, a hospital visit, or special equipment of any kind.
They're things you can actually test right now, today, at home, and the research behind each one comes from real cardiology studies, not vague wellness claims picked up from somewhere online. Stick around for all 5, because the third one is used by cardiologists themselves as a simple, on-the-spot fitness check, and it genuinely takes less than a minute. Ability 1. Climbing 4 flights of stairs, roughly 60 steps, without stopping. This sounds almost too simple to be meaningful, but the research behind it is genuinely striking. A study presented by the European Society of Cardiology found that the time it takes to climb 4 flights of stairs, predictor of cardiovascular fitness. Complete it in under a minute, and it's associated with excellent heart function, comparable to a MET score of 9 to 10 on a treadmill stress test, a level linked to less than 1% cardiovascular mortality risk per year. Take longer than a minute and a half, and it may be worth a closer look with a doctor. Here's why stairs work so well as a test. Climbing forces the heart to rapidly increase how much blood it pumps to meet a sudden demand. A heart with narrowed arteries or reduced function struggles to keep up with that demand, and that struggle shows up immediately as breathlessness, fatigue, or having to stop partway. A heart that handles it smoothly is demonstrating real, functional cardiovascular reserve, not just the absence of a diagnosis on paper. Research has also found that regular stair climbing itself, even in short bursts, meaningfully improves cardiovascular fitness over time, meaning this isn't just a test of where things stand.
It's also a genuinely useful, free form of exercise worth building into a normal week, regardless of how the heart rate that drops quickly after exertion, rather than staying elevated.
This one has actual clinical weight behind it. Research published in the New England Journal of Medicine, following heart patients over years, found that heart rate recovery, how much your heart rate drops in the minute right after stopping exercise, was one of the strongest independent predictors of long-term survival researchers measured. A drop of 20 or more beats per minute within the first 60 seconds after stopping activity and 50 or more within 2 minutes is associated with better cardiovascular fitness and lower risk. Testing this is simple. After climbing those stairs, or after any brisk walk, check a pulse immediately, then again after 1 minute.
The size of that drop tells a real story about how efficiently the nervous system and heart are working together to recover, something a resting heart rate alone can't reveal.
With YouConceptions to Fitness Tracker and to Leeds a Fitness Tracker, since the real value isn't a single measurement.
It's noticing whether that recovery number improves, stays steady, or gets worse over months.
Now let's take a look at this topic step by step and discuss everything you need to know in a simple and easy to understand way.
Ability 3, and this is the one cardiologists themselves use constantly, informally, without any equipment at all. The talk test. During moderate activity, a brisk walk, light housework, climbing a gentle hill, being able to carry on a full conversation without gasping for air between sentences is a genuinely reliable, real-time indicator of cardiovascular fitness. If speaking in full sentences during moderate effort feels comfortable, that's a strong sign. If only a few words come out before needing to catch breath, that's worth paying attention to, especially if it's a change from before rather than a lifelong pattern. What makes the talk test valuable is that it requires zero equipment and can be checked constantly, during an actual walk with a friend, a phone call while doing chores, without ever needing to stop and formally test anything. It's also worth knowing there's a middle zone worth paying attention to, being able to speak, but only in short, broken phrases rather than full sentences typically indicates a vigorous, harder effort level, which is completely normal during more intense activity and isn't itself a warning sign. Context matters just as much as the test result itself. Ability 4. Standing up from a chair repeatedly without significant effort or needing to push off with the arms. This comes directly from what's known in research as the senior fitness test, a set of measures specifically validated for adults over 60 to assess functional mobility and cardiovascular endurance together. The chair stand component, standing up and sitting back down repeatedly over a set time, measures lower body strength, but it's deeply tied to cardiovascular capacity as well, since the heart has to support that repeated muscular effort throughout. Research following adults over 65 through a structured 12-week exercise program found significant, measurable improvement in this exact test alongside broader cardiovascular gains, showing just how closely tied this simple movement is to genuine heart health, not just muscle strength in isolation. A simple way to check this at home involves standing up and sitting back down from a sturdy, armless chair as many times as comfortably possible in 30 seconds without pushing off with the hands. There are published age-adjusted benchmarks for this test, but the more practical takeaway is simpler. Noticing whether it feels significantly harder than it did a year or two ago is often more meaningful than comparing against a generic number. Ability 5. Getting through a normal day, a grocery trip, a walk, household tasks, without unusual swelling in the ankles or legs, or exhaustion that feels disproportionate to the activity. This one is slightly different from the first four because it's less a test and more an absence of a warning sign. Swelling in the lower legs, medically known as edema, and fatigue that feels out of proportion to normal daily activity are both recognized early indicators that the heart may not be pumping as efficiently as it should. A heart that gets through an ordinary day without either of these showing up is quietly demonstrating something meaningful, even though nobody usually thinks to give it credit. It's worth being specific about what unusual actually means here, since some mild end-of-day puffiness after a long day on your feet is common and not automatically concerning. What's worth paying attention to is swelling that's new, that doesn't fully resolve overnight, that affects both legs roughly equally, or that comes paired with the fatigue described here rather than existing entirely on its own with an obvious explanation, like sitting on a long flight. So, out of these 5, how many held up? For anyone who breezed through all 5 without a second thought, that's genuinely worth feeling good about real, measurable cardiovascular fitness backed by actual research, not just good luck. For anyone who struggled with 1 or 2, that's not a diagnosis, and it's definitely not a reason to panic. It's useful information, the kind worth mentioning at a next doctor's visit, framed specifically rather than vaguely. I noticed I get more out of breath on stairs than I used to, rather than just I feel tired sometimes. There's a bigger point underneath all 5 of these worth sitting with for a moment. Every single one of them, unlike a lot of cardiovascular risk factors, responds meaningfully to consistent, moderate activity, regular walking, stair climbing, light strength work. None of these 5 abilities are fixed traits someone either has or doesn't. They're closer to a snapshot of current fitness, one that genuinely shifts with a few months of consistent effort at almost any age within this range. If breaking down research like this, the kind that flips the usual script from what's going wrong to what's actually going right, feels useful, subscribing means catching the next one automatically. There's one coming up next that looks at a completely different, easy-to-miss physical signal, this time something most people have never once thought to check. Here's a specific one worth answering honestly in the comments rather than just thinking about. Out of all 5, which one felt the easiest, and which one made you pause? That single answer says more about where to focus than any of the others individually, and it might be exactly the detail that helps someone else reading the comments recognize the same thing in themselves. And if this reframed aging as something with real, testable wins along the way, not just a list of things to fear, sharing it with a parent, spouse, or friend in this age range could turn into a fun, 5-minute challenge between the two of you rather than another health warning nobody wants to read. None of these 5 abilities, individually or together, replace an actual checkup, an EKG, or a conversation with a cardiologist if something feels genuinely off. What they offer instead is something checkups often can't, a real-time, repeatable way to notice change over months and years, long before it would show up as a formal diagnosis, and a way to actually see the payoff of consistent effort rather than just hoping it's working.